Hey, what's going on? Yeah, Lawrence Thompson asked if that logo is new. Yep, it's a new logo. We have been designing a bunch of logos. Hold on, I have the wrong mic on. Give me a second.
Here we go. Now we have the right mic. Does it sound better? Should sound better. What's going on? Yes. So yeah, people like the new logo. You gotta holler at my man. He was a guest on the show. Jamel from the UK. He's the one who did the logo. He and he takes jobs. Let me put his information. You can find him on Twitter at Blunty King. So if you go on Twitter and give me a second, I'll put up his stuff right now. Yeah, yeah. So he's the one who does a lot of our logos and stuff like that. Holler at him on Twitter and ask him to do work for you if you want. Yeah, he also helped. Oh yeah, hold on. Let me show y'all something. Hold on. Speaking of things that he helped design, that's our new sticker. We're sending it to all the patrons. Came in the mail. We got like a couple of thousand of them. I'm sitting at home with them. But yeah, yeah. So we're sending them out to patrons. We're sending them out to patrons. So check it out. 3 inches, put them on your laptop. But he the original picture he didn't do, but the whole logo and everything around it and all that stuff, he he did. He created the whole look. Yeah, so if you're not a patron yet, this is another reason to become a patron. You will get um those nice stickers and along with all the other goodies. And if you're already a patron, check your messages because we message all the patrons. The way we set up our account at first, the way we first set up the account, we didn't require people because we didn't know what we were doing. We didn't require people to give us their addresses. So because of that, we actually don't have a lot of our patrons' addresses. Out of like 900 plus patrons, we only have right now, I think, about 100 patrons' addresses. So update your address with Patreon, your mailing address, and it'll update on our end. Definitely do that because we want to get people these stickers. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, as soon as you update that, we'll drop a sticker in the mail for you. The stickers are pretty cool. I'm really pleased with them. I'm gonna invite Ken right now, real quick. Cool. So wanted to talk about any other house cleaning. Oh yeah, let me just say this. So the way that the Patreon is set up now, anyone who joins now has to give us their mailing address. So that's taken care of for everyone going forward. It's for all the old patrons that's a problem that we can't send out these stickers to them, and they're really cool, and we're going to keep doing this. Every couple of months we're going to make some new goodies. Maybe we I was thinking maybe like bookmarks and stuff like that, but I feel like that's a dead thing. I don't know if people even really read physical books like that anymore. We have some other stickers. The next sticker I wanted to do, and this was also created by. Hold on, let me show you the other thing that Jamel did. Really like this one. Where is it? I'm gonna show you all the other one that Jamel did that I thought was really tight. The next sticker that we have planned is probably gonna be this one. We're gonna make T-shirts with this one too. That's another Jamel's designs. You know, the neon shark sign, and we were thinking of making this one transparent, so just the neon. So basically, take on background, whatever you put it on. You know, yeah, yeah. So some people actually say they want the bookmarks. Okay, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, because I thought like that was like an old school nerd thing. No one like bookmarks anymore. I always like a nice looking bookmark. Yeah, but so definitely go to if you're a patron already, check your messages. We've sent you a message telling you how to update your address, and once you do that, you'll start getting all these goodies. If you're not a patron and you become a patron, you know, and you do so over at patreon.com/champagne sharks, I'll put it up real quick. If you do become a patron, it's automatic going forward. All new patrons, it's automatically going to take your mailing address, so you don't have to worry. This is more for old patrons who haven't done it yet. Yeah, but definitely at Blunty King, if you want to hire Jamel. Jamel's got like a day job, so he does this kind of stuff on the side. He's also doing design work for Resistance Noire and Andre Domis's uh new media project, so you can see more of his work there. But yeah, we're always pretty pleased with his work. And oh, last thing, go to redbubble.com. This is the address. If you go to redbubble.com and search Champagne Sharks, that's another way, but the actual store is TBilzie, TBILZIE, and you can see all our products there. We have 3 different designs, and you can do like mugs, COVID masks. The COVID masks we get no profit from. Those we basically pay for. I mean, those are at cost. We don't make a profit from those, but we have mugs. We have a bunch of other things too. T-shirts, hoodies, and iPhone and Samsung cases, all types of good stuff. Really cool stuff. And yeah, what's going on, bro?
Cracking.
Hey, what's going on? Hey, people are asking why people thought I had a new camera and all this stuff, and because it looks so good. This is the latest thing I've bought with the super chat money. So this is another reason why, you know, keep giving us those super chats, because we put it into yes. For people, someone said the neon logo is the favorite one. We're gonna make a T-shirt with that one. So if you like that one, keep your eyes open. Check out. I got this thing. From Amazon, right? I use the super chat money for this, where it came from China. This thing is like this is a light bulb that has 16 watts of usage, but it generates 150 watts of output. So it makes the place look super bright. But what's cool about this light, right? See, it has a nice "Made in China" at the bottom. This thing is super weird. It's got like One Piece.
Oh
manga
yeah.
On it.
I got some.
Yeah.
I have something. I'm gonna show you something, dude. I'm
Yeah.
glad you brought that up. Dude, when you see this, you're gonna be cracking up laughing. So this some shit I got from Thailand. So like, okay, check this out. So this is Ghostface's album, right? You see that?
Yeah.
But everything on the back is in like Japanese.
Oh, word?
I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah. I see it.
It's like in Chinese. It's like Chinese and Japanese or something like that. It's like really weird. A lot of weird stuff, and like the names of the songs have been changed into like weird names. Like
is it like Chinglish? Like maybe it was translated into an Asian language and they retranslated it back to English, and it has that weird.
Can you see that?
Yeah. Oh my god. Someone's saying that DNC fundraising stuff is popping up as ads on our stuff. I'm gonna tell you why. I know why that's happening. I tried something new with this video to get extra. It's also gonna attract a lot of trolls probably. I tried something new where I pre-tagged the videos, before we started recording. So I put the tags. I put Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, the stuff like that. So now the algorithm is probably thinking we're a pro DNC. Some weird trolls are probably going to come too. The K-High is probably going to invade this. And,
dude, this is going to be hilarious. Like, I'm trying to. I wish we had a few more months before November because this is going to be hilarious. Because
it's going to be bad.
It's going to be good stuff. At this point, they're either going to want to lock us up or they're going to like us even more now. So it might be a little bit of both.
I think our Patreon rate's gonna go up as far as people subscribing, because I think this is what people kind of like. There was a stage where it was all about the Bernie Bros versus the Warren people, and during that time, like that base was really like energized, and I feel like now that energy switched over to Black Twitter, where the anti-K-Hive Black people versus the Black Blue Checks. The sassy Black Blue Checks are out of control. They are going full blue MAGA. They are straight up talking like Kenny and I were making fun of the all the starter jacket discourse. And I want to make something clear. I'm not saying, because on Twitter, nothing, the middle ground's always gone. I'm not saying
there's no gray area. It's either black or white.
Yeah. So people were accusing me of saying, you're saying that there was no crime in the 90s, that it wasn't dangerous to wear a starter jacket. And I'm gonna tell you the truth. It was dangerous, but not to the level that y'all are painting it out to be. You know what I'm saying? Because first of all, you had to be street smart. Like, I wasn't a street dude, but
right.
We were street smart. So those of us who weren't street dudes, we got together, if we had to go to a party at night, like these are the differences. Like you just said, like now you can be a high school kid, go to a party with one or two people and are fine. Back then, you used to roll deep everywhere. Like, I'm not gonna say it was a picnic. Like, if it wasn't a neighborhood you knew or people you knew, and it wasn't like your people's, you would roll to like another person's party deep. That's how you would do.
So this is back in the day, and I'm talking about pre-gentrified Portland. We had gangs, we had all kinds of shit going on here. And back in those days, this is what cracks me up about these people, because it wasn't even 3 weeks ago. You see this on Twitter all the time, how black folks talk about how poor they were. So you were really, really poor, but now all of a sudden everybody had 3-finger rings and 8-ball jackets and Jordans.
Yeah.
Hold on, dude. I tell people this all the time. Dude, I can remember the way it was. Nobody had Jordans because nobody's mama would buy them Jordans.
I never
$125 back then was a lot of fucking money.
Was a lot of money. And you know what's weird? Jordans actually haven't kept up with inflation. So Jordans are strange. They're strangely cheaper than they are now, because the price they are now, they were only a little bit cheaper in the late 80s, early 90s. They were still
bucks. They're $190 now.
Yeah. And back then, I remember they used to go for like if on sale, you might see them in like the high 90s, but I remember in the 90s they were still like $120 something. Like, it didn't really go up that much in terms of real money, so they were way more expensive then. Like, I never owned Jordans growing up. I was able to
I'm not saying that nobody did. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is the majority of us,
and some people did, and it was a big deal. But what happened is, you mostly wore your Jordans to go to school where you
Yep.
knew people, unless you were somebody that was being like bullied in your school. You
Yeah.
know, that wasn't like a problem. So it wasn't like the black kids in my school. I had no problem with them, so I could wear something nice. I had a goose jacket. Goose jackets were one of the other things that people used to get.
Yeah.
So I didn't have the Jordans, but I had the goose jacket. But it was like if I was going to some place I didn't know,
That's different.
then I had to go with a bunch of. You had to go in the daytime. You had to go with a lot of people. You know, and that's I'm not saying that's a great thing. Like, you know, it sucks that you have to bring a lot of people to
But
go
that's
to.
but it's like that kind of sort of in certain cities. It's still like that now. If you're from
Yeah.
a certain area and you're not going over, you don't go over into these areas because you don't know nobody over there. That's a risk. That's a risk that you've always had to take. So I look at it like, you know, I had one starter jacket when I was growing up. I got it in like 92. I think it was 92. And back at them in those days, the starter jackets that people was getting jacked for, if you got jacked for them, was the satin ones with the buttons.
Yeah. There was a very specific one.
It's
It had the
specific
hood.
one. Yeah.
It had the hood. They've made other starter jackets.
Well,
There was
I'm
some
talking about not the one with the hood. It was just the starter jacket, the satin one with the 6 buttons, got the team logo right here, and it's got the stripes on the arm. Like those were the ones that people was jacking for. The one with the hood came later with the zip up. It had the zip up and then it had a hood. That one came later. That was like maybe a year or two later.
In New York, the ones that people, and I think these ones had a longer run. The ones with the hood, I know the satin ones, but I think, you know what? I don't think those really hit as big in New York. I used to see them in the West Coast videos a lot. I think maybe because of the weather or whatever, because the hooded ones were warmer. And with New York weather, I think more people were into those. I saw those satin ones on like rap videos and stuff, but I didn't really see them that much in person.
Yeah, the hooded ones was out here, but not like the satin ones. The satin ones was a big deal. But I'm telling you, dude, you know, the way that these people make it sound like it was Mad Max. Like, when they went outside, they had to like you remember I think I did post it on Twitter. Remember Terminator 1, the first one, where the dude's like running around, he's like hiding behind doors and hiding behind walls and stuff, and he's got no shoes on. He's got no shoes on. Then he finds like some he starts those the Nike Blazers. He finds those and he's like running around, and that's what they're trying to make it sound like. But this is what kills me. It wasn't even that long ago where these same people, and they're all in our age range between ages of 35 and 45, where they was parading around like the dope dealer in the hood. He took care of everybody. If you play basketball, they would buy you some shoes. They didn't want you out there. They would tell you, hey, man,
that shit
get
never
out of
happened.
here. Like, get the
that's a
fuck
fucking
outta
Jay-Z.
here, man.
That's Jay-Z song shit.
Yeah,
that's
some
Jay-Z song shit.
The most thing I ever seen in the hood back in them days, if they knew you wasn't supposed to be out there, till you get the fuck out of here. You ain't supposed to be out here. You know what I'm saying? Because they knew you wasn't supposed to be out there. But it wasn't hey man, here go a couple of dollars, man. I don't want to see you out here. You know, here go a pair of shoes. No, dude, fuck out of here.
No, but this is what someone on Twitter said. Someone said, "Yo, back in the day, the whole neighborhood was eating. Like they weren't buying old lady. You're watching like fucking mafia movies with John Gotti's buying.
They've been listening to Paid in Full and shit, Alpo and Rich Porter and shit.
Yeah, I'm not saying it never. I'm not saying it never happened. I'm just saying I've never seen it. Maybe it happened somewhere. I don't know. But the idea this was the norm, that the whole neighborhood ate off the drug dealers.
No, that did not happen. No,
the old ladies hated the drug dealers. Called the cops on them. People was not like
the church hated the drug dealers. The garbage man hated the drug dealers. Bro, I was out there. I know what I was out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
growing up. In my school, we had some high school drug dealers. Some people in my school who were drug dealers, especially when I was like a sophomore and junior. By the time I was a senior, the people also don't realize that the peak crack era was only a short time. Crack era.
Yes,
the whole crack era wasn't operating at that peak level. Like it wasn't beginning to end New Jack City.
The peak era of big time drug dealers is like between 1985 to 87. After that, it was a bunch of little run around scramblers because everybody was in prison. Everybody was locked up. So if you did sell drugs, you was a little underling that was getting it, but you wasn't Felix Mitchell. Nothing like that.
Yeah. And there were a lot of like drug dealers, as in like late 80s, like 1990. I feel like even by 1990, it was tapering off as far as that dude that had a Maxima that was kidded in your high school. Like the kingpins were already like gone. And then you still had, going up into like early 90s, that those dudes who could get a nice car out of it. It
Yeah.
wouldn't even be like a brand new car. It'd be like 1990 and they got like an 88 maximum with a kit.
Yeah.
You know,
and he stood out. Everybody knew who that kid did that. Like he stood out. Like it wasn't all of a sudden he's got, you know, the whole block sold up. And maybe that did happen in some cities. I'm not saying it didn't, but on the West Coast, majority of the big name drug dealers was locked the fuck up by 1990. It was off the streets.
The drug dealers that we saw were just dudes who had a couple of dudes under him who can get himself a nice car when no one else his age had a car.
Right.
And all that I ever seen them do was bag bitches. That's all I see them do, really.
And have nice clothes. They had nice clothes, bag bitches. Still live at home with their mom.
They had nice clothes. I remember I was living in I moved from Queens to Long Island for high school, and I remember like our drug dealer from our school, he went to and got some Dapper Dan knockoff clothes, you know, so those fake Gucci sweatsuit with the G's all over him, and we were like, oh, that shit is hot, and it was shit like that, and we'd be pissed because they'd come back to the school after they graduated and just bag the hottest senior girls,
exactly,
and we'd be sitting around steaming, you know,
bitter. They sitting around bitter as fuck.
Yeah, but this whole idea of there was that many people just lacing up the whole place, people were just eating, and you know, like get the fuck out of here.
They've turned dope dealing into group economics. So now all of a sudden you're giving it to the little kids, they selling dope. Now, but if that's the case, what the fuck happened then? What happened? If they were just lacing everybody up, like you have a drug dealer, like if you was, you know, 14, 15 and you was consistently out there, somebody would, you know, give you something on consignment or something. But if you, first of all, if they don't know you, they ain't fucking with you. Yeah, they might know your mom, they might know your cousin or something like that, but nobody was trying to get caught. That was the whole thing. It's like Tom and Jerry with the police. You ain't trying to get caught. So what the fuck is they talking about? Like, dude, just stop lying. Just stop.
Yeah, but you know, it's funny. Like, I feel like those are the same people who were like when Paid in Full was like the hot thing to talk about online, and everyone's talking about Albee Square Mall, and there's that Albee Square, there's that Albee Square Instagram page that has all those old pictures. When that was cool, all these like living room gangsters were talking about it was the glory days pre-gentrification, because you know it was cool to bitch about gentrification, like pre-gentrification, everything. Yeah, everything was real and everything. But now that it's cool to be for the K-Hive, I think a lot of these same living room gangsters are like, "Oh my god, you couldn't leave the house with a starter jacket.
Yeah,
they could kill you."
It's funny. I'm glad you mentioned that, T, because I remember that page on Instagram. There's a couple other ones too, and they always post up all these New York gangsters and all these different dudes that sell dope in New York or whatever. And you look in the comments, and it's proliferated with people. Yeah, man, one of the hashtags is what did it say? Gentrify your own city, and the other one is like no more bike lanes, and all this other kind of stuff. And I'm like, so y'all basically saying that old New York was good. So don't come back now trying to make it like, oh man, I had to hide under my bed, man. You know, I couldn't even wear Jordans. I couldn't even hide them in the closet because they smell them and they would just come in my house and take them. Like, get the fuck is this shit.
It was such someone made a good point, and this is very true. And this was before my time. I was like really little, but this is very true. In New York, the Edward Byrne shooting put an end to that Supreme Team and shit. Like the Nino Brown.
Yeah.
I never knew who the Nino Brown was in any place that I lived because they weren't really on the street like that. Maybe somebody older, more connected. All I ever saw was the dude who was probably like, you know, selling for them, and they got a nice car. But the whole Supreme, he said like, that whole like Supreme Team thing, you know, where somebody is like the kingpin and he's on the block giving out turkeys or whatever. Like that was gone, but to the extent it existed. That Edward Byrne shooting, Edward Byrne's a cop that got killed
by Pappy Mason.
Yeah, and when that Edward Byrne thing happened, I actually remember that it was all over the news. You know, I remember my parents watching that on the news and everything, because that was because it was really bold. You didn't really do that, you know.
You know, cops like that. Back in the day, you know what I'm saying, people idolize, you know, back in those before gentrification in your neighborhood, you either you ever idolized the pimp, not because he was pimping, but because of what he had on. You idolized the local drug dealer if you knew who he was, you didn't really know who that person was. You know what I mean? Like even Freeway Ricky Ross said his name was buzzing, but nobody knew what he looked like. They didn't even know who he was. You know what I'm saying? Like I Sound Info said lots of low paid scramblers were the norm. Exactly. The scramblers was like the 14, 15-year-olds that will sell just enough dope to get a pair of Jordans, get some weed, and look nice for the girlies, and go to the park in the summertime, and all the girls are sweating because they got a brand new pair of foam posits or something like that.
The biggest guy that like I knew personally, he was the guy in my school, and he ended up dropping out at some point, because he was doing okay. But you gotta remember, you're doing okay by a high schooler or a freshman college standards. You know what I'm saying? Like he wasn't Nino Brown, but he had a couple of scramblers under him.
Yeah.
And he had that, and he had himself a really nice car, and he bagged the baddest girls. And at the time, that thing, because we were young, to me that was indistinguishable from Nino Brown. And then, you know, a couple years later, and I got older, I kind of realized, okay, you know, that car is a couple years old. Like especially for the girls in the neighborhood, that was like a huge thing. But you know, it wasn't like he wasn't keeping the block like super hot. Most people, and this is a thing that people are saying, and these are people don't understand anything that was going on. A lot of these people, anime avatars and divester profiles and stuff, are talking about the past like they knew. And this girl was saying, "Oh, you don't understand. People weren't getting robbed for starter jackets; they were getting straight up killed." And someone was like, "Yo, you don't understand what it was like. Murder rates was sky high." And I'm like, most of the people that was dying back then, like, were the people that got shot for 8-ball jackets? Were the people that got shot for starter jackets, for Jordans? Yeah, but most of the time, you either got jumped and they got taken.
But most of the murders were drug-related murders.
Exactly, most of the killings were drug-related murders. And what I was going to say is that on the flip side of that, people are trying to say that they weren't just robbing you for your jacket and asking you to run it; they were killing everybody. I'm like, the killings were a very small minority of the robberies. Most of the time, someone would jump you and pull your shoes off your feet, or ask you to run the jacket. Like
most of the time, if you was getting robbed, you wasn't going to get killed because you didn't have a problem giving the shit up.
Exactly. And that's what these people on Twitter are trying to say. They're trying to say that they didn't give you a chance to run it. They just killed you. I'm like,
no, that's not how it worked.
Yeah. So they're trying to say that the murder rates reflect the murder rates of the crack era were all starter jackets and sneakers.
Man, this shit was all about drugs, man.
Exactly.
You know, when the big time drug dealers were off the streets and you had low paid scramblers, you had dudes out there that the biggest, and I'm get graphic, the most crack a dude would get was 9 ounces, a quarter key of cocaine. That was enough to have your whole neighborhood rocking. But eventually,
and a lot of people like renegades, when the big guys were gone,
they were renegades.
No order. Yeah, they were just renegades.
So you got dudes out here competing that's 15, 16 years old with $30,000 from, you know, hustling. That's a lot of fucking money when you're 15 years old.
Yep.
So immediately in a small town like Portland, which is a perfect example, you're going to have a target on your motherfucking back. All of those dudes, I knew them. They're all dead. Every single one of them. They're dead or they're in prison. And they did so much time. If I saw them, I wouldn't know who the fuck they were. So it's like that in other cities too. When it's in Detroit and all these different places. What happened was when you had, and this is why I like Ice Cube, because he details it in the song "Summer Vacation." A lot of drug dealers from LA started going to other cities. That's the reason why, you know what I'm saying, places like Portland and Seattle, we ended up with Crips and Bloods here because the gangs came up here selling dope. What they did was they found other dudes to put on, young dudes, and next you know the shit spread like wildfire. You know what I'm saying? And the gang members ended up going to prison or they died or whatever the fuck happened. And then now it's just the wild, wild west where everybody is selling drugs. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got crack on a corner or is in the projects in North Portland doing this, that, and the third. And then and this is what I was talking about on Twitter. Everybody wants to talk about what happened, but nobody wants to talk about the root cause of why it was going on. So now let's go a little bit. Now let's go a little bit further though. When you're dealing with, in a perfect example is a place like Portland, or Oakland or San Francisco, especially South San Francisco, you're dealing with gentrification right now because that was the side effects of all of that. So you take away the jobs, you take away and put people in prison. Now you got all the neighborhoods are ran down, and then pretty much people are just, the tax base raises the taxes in the neighborhood. You can't afford to live there. Now you're gentrified. That's a direct correlation with the crack era and the crime bill and all that other shit. And that's why there's no black people in Brooklyn where you live. There's no black people in Portland where I live. There's no black people in Hunters Point and the Tenderloins and all these different places in San Francisco anymore. So people always want to talk about one part, but not the other part.
Yep. I mean, that plays a role in everything, even the birth of hip hop. People don't realize that when all the social programs left, one of the things that used to be in even black public schools, they used to have music programs. If you ever notice, above a certain age, most black people, especially, they know how to play an instrument.
Yeah,
and by like the 70s with the white flight, the urban blight and all that stuff, they took a whole bunch of social programs and after school programs and all this stuff out of the hood. And there was that was like a first generation where like a lot of black people had no training in playing instruments and stuff, and the sampling, the DJing and all that stuff, that's where a lot of that energy went. Like the external has a lot to do with even the good things, like things will happen in the vacuum, but these people, their politics never go beyond who's gonna fuck him. Like all they want to do is talk about colorism all day, who gets a big piece of turkey, like black men are privileged because my brother
$200 dates.
$200 dates. Black men are privileged because my brother didn't have to wash dishes when we were a kid. Like they're making socioeconomic policy analysis based on who was made to wash dishes by the parents when they were kids. Like dumb shit. Like people can't think beyond what's in front of them or what's
well. Not only that, they're just flat out liars.
That
These
too.
These people are just liars. And that's what Twitter is all about. Who can tell the best lie. So a lot of these people, they get on Twitter, they start lying, and then when you go peel back and look at their other tweets, you're like, oh, no wonder you lying because you were saying this bullshit 6 months ago. You know what I'm saying? You're just a liar.
Yeah. So when it was cool to before pre-gentrification, when so you can tell remember we were talking about those people making those Alpo and Fat Cat threads on Twitter.
Yes.
And we're like, okay, this person just read a lot of Don Diva and whatever, and he's just regurgitating. Yeah, and now these same people are like probably K-Hive and anti-Trump for clout, and now they're talking about the crime bill was originally called the starter jacket bill. It was that just making up stuff.
Well, you got that one guy was on there lying about, there's always a lot of grandstanding going on with this kind of stuff because someone will feel like they've done more research than you and you just don't know anything. That's pretty much the tagline for Twitter. So the guy starts talking about how, man, y'all need to do your own research. And I swear to you, even texted me, you was like, hey, I was about to send that article. It was from the New York Times. And he was basically saying, yeah, even the Black Caucus wasn't in favor of the crime bill. No, they were not. They weren't.
Yeah, and we gotta talk about that because people are just lying. Phil Winter said this, and this was very true. He said Supreme did give out turkeys on Thanksgiving. That really happened, but Gertz Mall gave out turkeys too.
Exactly.
Yeah. But also, like, what I was saying is, I'm not saying like it never happened, but I'm saying like the extent to which these people make it seem like, because I got to show the actual tweet that I'm talking about because it was an actual tweet. Where I'm gonna put it up on screen now, right? Because giving out free turkeys is different than making sure people eat year round, which is why people try to make it sound like somebody was putting up this where they said, I watch older blacks wax poetic about the 80s and early 90s, how the money was flowing and how real it was. The Ghana drug dealer who feeds entire neighborhoods, and it's like that's not really feeding an entire neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? Like how do you define feeding a neighborhood?
Well, I think what he's saying is he's talking about like the people that make those threads where they're talking about Alpo and all this, and they're, oh yeah, man, I was there on 145th Street, and he had a whole truck full of fireworks. He did all the fireworks and handed out Happy Meals to the kids, gave them a free pair of troops. Oh man, that was the day. And you'd be like, all right, and that's in their definition is that person feeding the block, but really what that person is idolizing this person that either they wish they could be or wish they could have lived, or
ostentatious displays of wealth. Yeah, but I do think this person is right that there are people who do tell stories like that. Like he's saying that people tell, and I do believe that it's the same people who are now talking about because either way they're going off of movies. Like they're just changing things to get the clout. But also like I feel like I'll be honest, in real life, I never got to see the Alpos, or if I did see them, or the Supreme Griffs, or if I did see them, I just didn't know who they were because they were so far removed from me. What I saw in my everyday life were the people you described. Like the highest I would see is like that kid who has $30,000 or $40,000. He has enough that he can buy himself a Maxima or a Jetta. You know, those are the two big drug dealer cars, and maybe have like 3 or 4 people under him. You know, and that was especially after the Edward Burns shit and when he started cracking down. Because like I said, the peak crack part didn't last as long as people think, when there was a bunch of freeways and Alpos and Griffs. Like those people were more the norm. Those $20,000-$30,000 have some stuff to sell, and those people were not lacing up anything. They were just trying to get bitches. They were buying nice shit. They were people just lie like way too much. And okay, if you want to lie for clout, that's one thing, but don't start lying when it comes to like politics and spreading lies on, because these things go viral. Like we don't need like millions of white people and non-black people.
They've already started doing it. So if you know, for people that don't know, like even what's that white lady's name? That ugly white lady from Fox. She's always saying crazy stuff. Now she's like starting to sound like black people. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, black people don't even trust the Democrats. And you know, what the fuck is her name? She gets into it with everybody. She's a racist too. She's a for real racist. Like you got to be careful. She's trying to do that whole "your enemy is my enemy" type of thing. What the fuck is her name? Racist white lady, old lady. Well, she looks old. Ann Coulter. Ann Coulter. Okay. Yeah. So she's on Twitter doing that. She's on there basically saying like, yeah, black people, they don't even trust the Democrats. I'm just, saying what, not what she's saying, but she's using a lot of terminology that a lot of black people are using on Twitter, basically championing what black people are saying. And I'm looking in between in her threads, and I'm seeing a lot of black people in there, and I'm like, y'all don't know who y'all dealing with. Like, this lady is a white supremacist. Like, you don't, even if she is repeating something that you said, you don't agree with her. She's still
people gotta stop doing that. Enemy of my enemy is a friend thing. People gotta really stop.
You're still the enemy.
yeah, exactly. You're
still the enemy, homie. I'm good.
Yeah, people do way too much, man. But yeah, it was really funny. All the talk about I mean, both stories. Because first of all, the money's flowing. The money's flowing to who? Like the money's not like trickle down economics. Like it wasn't flowing to our parents. It wasn't flowing to regular. I mean, it was flowing to people in their circle. It wasn't lifting up the rest of the hood in any
kind of way whatsoever. If anything, you had to depend on the athletes to start investing in the hood. The drug dealers, for what it's worth, a lot of them did not, because and for a lot of them, for a lot of reasons. I mean, they just didn't know how. They just knew how to get money. They weren't fucking involved in any type of legislation and how to build a neighborhood. They didn't know anything about that. You know what I'm saying? Even in the fabled Paid in Full movie, Rich Porter is selling all those drugs, but he still lives at home with his mom and his brother.
Yeah, they weren't setting up businesses to launder shit. No one was showing them how to do that for the most part. It was what's crazy about all these lies. It's like we got both extremes of the lies, and the truth is getting lost somewhere in the middle. Yeah. But these people are like the loudest and most available people to talk about this stuff, so they're able to spread any type of story that they want, and it's all just so stupid. And to show how these people don't believe in anything, Ava DuVernay right now is the worst.
Oh yeah,
she is by far
She's a scammer.
Yeah, she's a scammer. She's a total scammer, and she thinks she doesn't believe in anything except what's convenient. Because have you seen have you seen I'm gonna pull it up now.
Are you talking about the Instagram post that she left?
Yeah,
yeah.
She should be ashamed. She should
But
be
she's
ashamed.
not.
But
she's not. And that's the problem.
She's not.
She has no scruples. None.
Because you know what? The people that she's selling out to say what she did, she doesn't care about them anyway.
No.
You know, she doesn't care. She doesn't give a damn.
She couldn't give two fucks about the people that she made those documentaries about. She don't care. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, she cares about making money. And
she made those documentaries for white people.
Absolutely. For white liberals. That's what she made those for. White liberals.
Thanks, Tron G Rock, for donating. Appreciate it. But someone said Ava DuVernay has been trashed for years. I don't know why so many people are surprised by her blue check rant, and I'll tell you why. Because people think representation is something real.
They think it's tangible.
Yeah. So people are just ridiculous. These people, if you say, they will respect you more for saying the right thing than doing the right thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's all they care about. These people, they don't, and these are the same people that will argue with you all day long when you bash one of these people. You know, when you try and say, look at their actions and not what they say, and they're like, "Oh, I don't see you making a movie, or she's giving people work," you know. And then when they're doing fucked up, they're like, "What did this happen? I don't get it." You know.
Yeah.
A lot of people could save themselves a lot of grief if they would just trust what people like when people tell them who they are, just believe it. But people want to believe so many good things about the person who's giving representation, because for a lot of these people, there's no higher value than being seen and getting sexual interest, you know, like from and being represented and stuff. So yeah, that's all they care about. That's all they care about. Phil Winter, thanks for the donation, appreciate it. But this is what Ava DuVernay said. She said, "There is no debate anymore. There's no room for it in my book. We either make this happen or literally more of us perish. People are dying. Someone I love died. This virus is real." Okay, I don't know how. Has Joe Biden said anything he's going to do to combat the virus? I'm not saying Trump did a great job, but this idea that Joe Biden can just turn everything around, but no one tells you anything specific that Joe Biden has promised to do. Like, Joe Biden's going to fix the police brutality problem, but not only is he not setting any policy that he's going to do, the only thing he's mentioned is he says he can give $300,000 or some kind of ridiculous amount to give more education to police. Like, the few things he has said have all been about helping the police.
Yeah.
Like, they don't actually point to any policies in any of these categories that he said is going to help these people. It's just this idea that with Trump is gone, magically everything improves, right? So it's like, if it hasn't visited your doorstep, it will. Oh, but Kamala did this or she didn't do that. Okay, what did Kamala promise to do to fight the virus? You know, I don't. Yeah, I hear you. I know, and I don't care. Now, this woman got a whole bunch of mainstream press attention and accolades and woke points for doing the Central Park jogger case, a 5-part thing. You know, When They See Us, all about prosecutorial overzealousness and misconduct. So how on earth do you say you don't care? Like, so then what was the whole point of that whole 5-part thing? Like it's easy to be against it now when the popular opinion is that those kids got railroaded. But I mean, so basically all you believe is whatever is convenient and popular to believe, you know. And even that movie, I didn't like a lot about that movie because, for example, Ed Koch, the Democratic mayor, did a lot more to throw those kids under the bus than Donald Trump, who he took out a big ad, but he was a private citizen, and that ad wasn't as huge a deal as people make it out to be now. Like, because I was alive in New York at that time, even though I was a kid, and that ad didn't get a lot of press like people make it out now. And people make it seem like Donald Trump had such power in politics and public opinion that ad somehow like turned the tables and got those kids railroaded. That ad was fucked up and whatever. But Ed Koch, who was actually in power and political power, did a big deal of making an example of those kids and stoking the racism. But she didn't put that in there. She doesn't really mention him at all because, you know, it's made for white liberals, and attacking Trump is easy, but Ed Koch is gonna make things harder for, you know, impressing the white liberals, and she doesn't want to do that. So that whole thing I thought was very kind of biased anyway. That whole when they see his project.
Well, at the end of the day, Ava DuVernay is no different than all the rest of the people that's trying to get on the trying to find their little cot in the corner of the White House. You know what I'm saying? Because they have this imaginary idea that if they win, Joe Biden, Jim Crow Joe, is going to all of a sudden have a barbecue and a basketball hoop and all this other imaginary bullshit just because Kamala Harris is on the ticket with him. And majority of them, I don't know if Ava DuVernay is a Greek, but a lot of these goofball ass Greek motherfuckers is really on that. And this is why I've been, you know, I always post videos. I love history, so I always post videos and lectures and things. And I posted a lot of the Steve Coakley stuff. And a lot of people always like, no, man, that's that chapter. No, you seeing all these motherfuckers trying to get on the same level, the same playing field to make it like just because they're Greek, that all of a sudden now they're going to be in the building. So I posted that article about that prostitution ring that the AKAs had going on. Nobody knew about that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, and also to think that matters in grown folk politics, you know, it's like
I don't think people really understand how pointless and how nothing it means to white people.
Have you seen Bush or any white people talk about Skull and Bones and how important it is as representation? You know, it's saying, oh man, Skull and Bones getting represented, like, you know, they because they have real power, so they don't want to talk. They don't have power.
When John Kerry was running for president, what year was that? 2004.
Yeah, I think so.
When John Kerry was running for president, they asked him about Skull and Bones. That motherfucker wouldn't say shit.
Yep. He wouldn't say anything about it.
He wouldn't say anything, and neither would George Bush. So all these other so-called Greeks running around thinking that they're gonna stomp the yard and do a stroll on the White House lawn. Man, you're a goddamn idiot.
But all that just shows like their powerlessness, because then, you know, they have to exaggerate the being seen thing. Like when you have actual real power, you don't really even want to be seen or conspicuous like that because you have stuff to lose. But Fake Rapper on Periscope, because we're getting comments from different things. Fake Rapper is saying the ad was a big deal. Please don't downplay it. It was full page in the paper. I'm not saying that it was nothing. It was a full page ad in the paper, but what I'm trying to say, and Phil Winter is pointing out, it was very small in the overall discourse of the loud amount of voices that actually had more political power that were calling for these kids to be hung. And it wasn't just Republicans. It wasn't even just white people. You know, there was a lot of class politics with black people, where a lot of black people, upper class and whatever, and respectability politics were throwing these kids under the bus too. Like this, and this is Ken's favorite word, but I'm gonna steal it. It's presentism to elevate that ad. Like that ad is a full page ad in the paper. Yes, but that's a private citizen putting out an ad. But when the rest of the paper, including the editorial pages, are full of the same sentiment, you know, when the black respectability politicians are trying to throw these kids under the bus and kind of show, hey, we're not giving black people special treatment. When Ed Koch, the mayor, is trying to show, because you know what happened too, like a lot of times Democrats wanted to show like, hey, and this is what Bill Clinton fell into with the crime bill too. Just because I'm a Democrat doesn't mean I'm a bleeding heart, or, you know, I'm soft on crime.
Yeah, I'm going to I hate these niggers too. I'm going to
compensate. So I'm like saying you don't have to ignore the Trump thing. I'm not saying to say it didn't mean anything, but when you elevate it as the most pressing public opinion thing against these kids, and ignore all the other stuff, that's very opportunistic presentism. That's just not true. People didn't talk about the
Well,
ad
that's
to that
omitting that's omitting what you've done in favor of trying to, you know, push someone that is in prominence right now that you don't like. So you're basically saying like, well, yeah, I did say that, but look at him. He's the president now and he said it. It's like, dude, no, all y'all motherfuckers was out of pocket. Every last one of you was out of pocket.
Yeah, and yeah, it was on all the stations, and there were a lot of people. And this is a great point too. The New York Times happily took Trump's money and published that ad. You know, it was like that ad reflected, I think, more than it caused. And what I mean by that is like that ad was saying a lot of things that people were already saying and believed, and that things like that movie and the current revisionist discourse make it more sound like, you know, it was creating the problem. And again, this is the all or nothing thing, you know, where me saying that that ad wasn't the be all end all of the discourse isn't me saying that the ad was meaningless or okay or excusable, you know. But you got to tell the whole story. The Ken Burns documentary on the Central Park Five, I think, is much better. Ken Burns has a Central Park Five documentary that I think captures the nuance much better. Where the Ava DuVernay one was very good at stirring up emotions, but I also feel she did the thing with Selma. Selma had a lot of presentism in it too, where Selma was more a Black Lives Matter movie than an actual MLK and SNCC movie. Selma, to me, was mostly about trying to sell the idea that they were the Black Lives Matter of their day and trying to force parallels between them. And it was kind of, it was really more about the present crop of blue check and blavity black type activists than it really was about Martin Luther King and SNCC and John Lewis and stuff. It was more about trying to tie themselves into, I mean, and that's like an old tactic. Like I'll give you an example. Feminism, right? If you ever look at the so-called first wave feminists never called themselves feminist. The word existed. It was like it appeared in like French things and everything, in French theory books, and it existed, but it was never like really like a hugely popular word at the time. What they called themselves were suffragettes. They called themselves suffragettes, and there were a certain type of woman. There were two types of people that could be kind of called the first wave of feminists, and they were kind of intertwined and overlapped. There was the abolitionists. A lot of early feminists overlapped with abolition and stuff. It was very much a white woman's kind of hobby horse at the time. Abolition. There were a lot more white women than white men involved in it, and there was the suffragettes, and they've been kind of combined to be called the first wave feminists. And after abolition, you know, a lot of those abolitionists, white women abolitionists, became suffragettes. A lot of them straight up turned and then started acting like white supremacists themselves, complaining about the black male vote and saying that the black men are rapists and stuff. But they didn't call themselves feminists. Then the second wave of feminism came. Those women did call themselves feminists in like the 60s and 70s, but they called themselves, you know, the second wave feminists. And they retroactively made the suffragettes and the abolitionists feminists. Because then what that does is that gives an extra bit of validity and age to your movement. Like, we're the extension. But, you know, a lot of those, there's a lot of aspects of second wave feminists that the so-called first wave, the suffragettes we know would have hated, you know, like, but they're not able to protest. They're not able to say anything. They're not able to say, hey, what's this feminism word? We were suffragettes. We don't know what this feminism thing or all this stuff you're all talking about. We don't fuck with that, you know, like, and that's why I think Selma and a lot of the modern Black Lives Matter people do is they try to retroactively attach themselves as the extension or creation or or whatever of things that they weren't really a part of to give
Right.
themselves extra. And that's what Selma was to me. A lot of Selma is that it's trying really hard. Like they're talking about themselves in the movie and using phrases and words that weren't in use back then.
Right.
And that weren't really the concern. It sounds like people today talking. And that's
Right.
for a particular reason.
No, that's classic presentism. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're placing yourself with a group of people that didn't identify like you did. It's just like how we talk about slavery today, and we talk about, like they did with the Harriet movie with Bigger Long and all that kind of stuff. Like, no, dude, that's not real.
Bigger Long's big concern was getting money to spend on white hookers.
White women, white hookers, like as if at that time any white person would allow a black man to sleep with a white woman, let alone buy one. That didn't work like that. But that's classic presentism when you have an agenda.
Yeah. He goes, so she goes, and I don't care, because what she didn't do is abandon citizens in a pandemic, rip babies from their mother's arms at the border, send federal troops to terrorize protesters, manufacture new ways to suppress black and brown votes, actively disrespect indigenous people and land, traffic in white supremacist rhetoric in an effort to stir racist violence at every turn, attempt to dismantle most American democratic systems of checks and balances, degrade women all day, every day, infect the Supreme Court with another misogynist hack, demolish America's standing on climate. So she's even bringing up climate change. Actively cultivate and further white supremacist structures and systems across all aspects of American daily life. I mean, that's what she didn't do. So I didn't want to hear anything bad about her. And now here's what I find very interesting about that passage so far, right? Notice when she talks about what she did to black people, it's very not specific and vague. This is what she says. She goes, so the first part, all she goes is, oh, Kamala did this or she didn't do that. I hear you.
Yeah.
I know, and I don't care. That's all she can dedicate to black problems. So all she can refer to black problems as is literally this or that. She goes, Kamala did this or she didn't do that. And
so
the
that's
implicit
what the 13th
thing to that
is.
Yeah, exactly. 13th and what do you call it? When they say yes, that's basically this or that.
Yes.
She did whole movies and miniseries and whatever about this or that.
Yep.
Yeah. So this or that was worth spelling out when it brought you points with white liberals and were able to help you hop onto the popular part of the conversation and stuff, right? But but now basically what happened, she doesn't even name black men by name or as a group. She just says or the problem, she can't even bother to name what people hate her for. She just basically, she either did this or didn't do that. I don't know, I don't care. But then she goes into this list with excruciating specificity of the total all lives matter checklist. She's name dropping the crime. She's name dropping climate change. She's name dropping ICE. She's name dropping Latinos at the border. She's name dropping the pandemic, indigenous people. So I mean, that just kind of shows like she cares more about everybody else. Like she believes that black people belong on the bottom. That
absolutely.
That they're an afterthought. Black people, you can make money off of them, but at the end of the day, she treats them like an afterthought when she's done. I think that's really kind of fucked up that you can't even bother to name what the this or that is that people are mad at Kamala for. But you can, because I think this is for the white people, and she knows what the white people care about, and this is to impress them and let them know, like,
because she knows that they need all the white liberals they can, and she knows that white liberals, when it really boils down to it, they love standing for ICE, against ICE, and all these different things, all the things that she named, and the black problems come last. They always have, and they always will. How do we know that? Because look at all the protesting that's been going on. It was black, then it turned into everything else.
Yep. And the black part that has remained in the discourse, thanks to people like Ava DuVernay and those people, has become about casting and people in her class getting jobs, getting directing jobs,
and
whatever. Michael B. Jordan is talking about we need more black agents and more black people in charge of the film companies. Like how did it change? How did you not only all lives matter everything, but change the black aspect of it away from where it started to bougie black problems? And
Oh yeah, because that's what it's always been about with these bougie Negroes.
yeah, and Henrietta Snacks on Twitter made a good point. She goes, notice how she trivializes what Harris quote unquote did or didn't do, but then spells out Trump's ills to everyone else in detail. The message that sends is that poor black people don't really count. Hurting them isn't a big deal, but Trump is hurting everyone else, so we still need to show up for them,
Right,
And,
right.
yeah.
That's that. And but these same people will come out and say, "Well, I'm tired of being everybody's mule." No, you're not.
You may not.
No,
Yeah.
you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. Put a saddle on, motherfucker. Get ready.
You're tired of not being compensated like you want for being the mule. But you're fine being the mule. Yeah, you're
That's
totally
exactly,
fine.
Yeah, you're totally fine with it.
Yeah. Vita's around. Hey Vita, you available? You want to hop in here? What's going on, Vita? Vita's on Twitch. Yeah, man. These people are beyond full of shit. They are beyond.
But people like her, they're always gonna get what they deserve. So, when all of the bullshit hits the fan, I don't want to hear her say shit. Don't try to deflect and then blame Joe. You know what I'm saying? Because this is the thing. It's like gangbanging. Hey, man. Yeah, you might have a couple of dudes in your hood that might be cool, but then you might have a rapist in your hood. You got to be accountable for that motherfucker too. So y'all motherfuckers want to jump on Kamala's bandwagon when Joe start disenfranchising your black ass? Because he's going to.
Yep.
He's going to. When Joe starts repealing anything Obama did and start putting in these crime bills and coming up with all this goofy shit, stand in the paint. Make sure you stand in the paint.
Yeah, I would not be surprised. 3 months is not a lot of time, but I would not be surprised if Ava DuVernay tries to rush a sequel to like 13. She calls it like When They See Us in Starter Jackets, and it's just about the starter jacket murder epidemic and stuff. Like if she had the time, she would definitely do a propaganda documentary for Joe Biden, Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
It would suddenly prosecutors would be the heroes. It would be the opposite of When They See Us. It'll just all be about starter jackets. She'll probably even try to blame Trump, like Trump invested in the starter company.
Yeah.
If I get these niggas wearing starter jackets, they're all gonna die.
Right. I've even seen people on Twitter like literally just lie about, look, only 75 people got convicted of marijuana cases when she was the district attorney or wherever, the attorney general. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, are you serious? Like, you guys are out of here. You guys are so you have no shame. There is absolutely no shame with these Negroes.
Dude, someone lied to my face. That's the worst part. These people will lie to your face. Let me show you this example. And I don't think they even know they're lying. I think they just say whatever they have to say to just shut you up, and then they just hope that you don't double check. They just hope
that's part of it. Yeah, they hope you don't.
Yeah, they just hope we don't double check. So check this out. Check out what someone did to me. Someone did to me today, right? So I played this video, and I was like, I want this video to go viral just because I want to see. Like, I'm having fun seeing what these sassy black people are gonna come up with. So and it already started. So I tweeted this thing. I said, everyone, just retweet this so we can see what kind of excuses people are gonna give.
I would not be standing here were it not for the education I received. So I decided I was going to start prosecuting parents for truancy. And I've got a little political capital, and I'm going to spend some of it. As a prosecutor and law enforcement, I have a huge stick. The school district has got a carrot. On my letterhead, now let me tell you something about my letterhead. When you're the DA of a major city in this country, usually the job comes with a badge. And there is often an artistic rendering of said badge on your stationery. So I sent a letter out on my letterhead to every parent in the school district. We sent it out to everyone. A friend of mine actually called me and he said, Kamala, my wife got the letter. She freaked out. She brought all the kids into the living room, held up the letter, said, if you don't go to school, Kamala's going to put you and me in jail. Yes, we achieved intended effect. I would not be standing here were it not for the education I received. So I decided.
So basically, it's what she said. You know, she's bragging about scaring the people with her badge and terrorizing them and stuff. And sure enough, somebody sends me this. They didn't lock up one parent in that program. It was a scare tactic that worked. Now, first off, I knew he was lying, that people got arrested for it. But to me, I didn't even want to go there because I'm like, first off, even if he didn't arrest people, that's a really fucked up thing to say. So I was like, okay, even if it was true, it didn't arrest people, does that make it okay to traffic in like such scare tactics and appeal to fascist voters? Because to me, she's doing that to show out for like racist white people to show, hey, this is where your tax dollars are going. I want y'all to know, even though I look like I'm of color, I'm
one of you.
Yeah, I'm one of you. I'm tough on these people. That's like really scary messaging as far as showing me what you're willing to do. Like so even if she didn't arrest people, and it was a scare tactic, it's a fucked up propaganda thing. But on top of that, it's not even true that you know, so the guy says this. He goes, who was harmed in the situation? Right? So then I put this because I was waiting for that because I knew he was lying. I said, you know, you could find this in a 10-second Google search, right? And this is what I showed him. 10 seconds he could have found this, right? And this is what I showed him. You were able to see the tweets, right? When I put them up.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's why I make sure because I wasn't looking at the screen. And then this is the article that I hit him with. This is one of the women that was arrested.
You know what was funny is that there was somebody under his tweet. They saying not a one. Like not
yeah. When those sassy back was chewing. Yeah, always so sassy and can't do it. And you know what's funny? Those are the same people that when you ask them to supply data, they'll tell you Google's free.
Google's free. Yeah.
And they don't use it themselves. And you notice, I don't say Google is free. You know, if I make a claim, I'm gonna back it up. I'm not gonna. Yeah, I'm not gonna fuck Google's free. Fuck you. But yeah, the human cost of Kamala Harris war on truancy. And then, you know, this is people getting arrested. This took 10 seconds to Google. I mean, I already knew it existed, you know, and it says here, Orange County heeded her call with particular enthusiasm. On the morning Peoples was arrested, people arrested 5 other parents, including several in front of a waiting news crew, as part of what one assistant district attorney painted as an effort to keep children from joining a gang. So this news crew was waiting and was set up. That's how much they were trying to make an example out of these people and show that so there's a news crew waiting, in case you're wondering why there's a picture there. But the funniest part is that dude did not answer. He didn't reply.
Of course
he didn't retweet. No. He just did the smoke bomb. And that's what I fucking hate is like.
No, I look at that as a good thing. That means I won. First round knockout. You can even go a couple more rounds. You done? All right. You're out of here. You're just gonna keep lying.
But you know the thing, it's worse than a lie because a lie means that you know the truth. Like
oh yeah.
To deliberately lie, you have to know the truth, right? Because you don't want to accidentally say the truth. So if I'm gonna tell a lie, I have to know what the truth is. Because if I don't know the truth and I just say whatever comes to mind, I might accidentally tell the truth. You know, so
absolutely.
But now what he was doing is bullshitting. Bullshitting is when you don't even know what you're saying is true or false. You just want to win the argument and get your result. So
I don't understand
this guy.
Just tell the truth, man. Just say you like her because you like her. Don't lie.
Just tell the truth. That person didn't. I'm sure he didn't even know what was happening. They just hope that you're stupid. They just hope. This is the thing. These are the people that will tweet things like, "Black people didn't like me because I enunciated all my words, you know.
Yeah, they always called me white because I had straight A's.
Yeah. They made fun of me because I studied. Like these are people that have a very low.
It's them suburban blacks that me and Vita be talking about. It's them
Yeah,
suburban blacks.
they have a very low estimation of people who identify with the black community. Like the divestors are an extreme version of them, but they're not far behind. They have a low estimation of the average black person or people who identify with the black community, and a huge overestimation of themselves because they think everyone's jealous of them. They're supposedly so smart.
Yeah.
They were smarter than everyone because they like comic books and listen to
they listen to Maroon 5 and watch anime.
Yeah. They listen to Coldplay, Maroon 5, and they watch anime, and they think that makes them smarter than every other black person. So whenever they see anyone doing a pro-black argument, they just think, oh man, all I gotta do is show up and just be sassy. And you know, this person, there's no way they could disagree with me by reading or by knowing anything, you know.
Right.
Yeah. So then they show up and they keep getting smoked all the time because, you know, we're not all stupid.
The scary thing is what it shows that there's a lot of us in our community or that live on the outside of our community, suburban black folks, that are still politically silly. So really, at the end of the day, and I had this debates with dudes on Twitter just a couple days ago, and he was talking about, man, y'all still complain about that 40-year-old crime bill. I said, man, I didn't know 1994 was 40 years ago. What the fuck is going on here? And it's like, you know, I told him, I was like, you know, the thing about it is, man, just if what it is that you just don't like the way Trump makes you feel, say that.
Yeah.
Don't make excuses because we're gonna find out you're lying. Yeah. We're gonna find out. I told him, I said, man, look, on this podcast, we are experts at catching black ass liars and just white supremacist liars. That's what we do. We are going to find out you're lying. So just say that. I think he's from New York. He's like 47 years old, and he's talking about, you know, man, I'm still trying to hold on to my Social Security. Motherfucker, they've been trying to destroy Social Security for 35 years.
Yeah. That didn't start with Trump. Hermes Morris had a good thing. He said, y'all not letting up on these new blacks. They're not letting up on us. Trust. We don't want to think about them, but their horse shit won't stop. Like I'm telling you, like this starter jacket. Hold on, they put up some of the stuff that they were saying because trust me, if Ken and I had our way, we would rather just talk about music all day long. I think
all day long. Yeah, talk about the NBA. I'd be talking.
Talk about NBA. Talk about boxing. Boxing. I would love
boxing.
To all the time.
There's a lot going on in boxing right now. I love to talk about boxing, but geez.
Yeah, but it's it's not us not letting up on them. They won't go away. Like just please go away and let us forget about you. And it wouldn't be so bad they weren't doing actively harmful shit. Like you know, like trying to tell people that, like, if you're just doing silly shit, like telling people to watch you know, Insecure or something, okay, that's not the end of the world. But they're trying to tell people that the crime bill was needed. They're one step away. I mean, Ava DuVernay basically almost did. They're one step away from thanking Joe Biden for the crime bill.
Absolutely.
That's coming soon. One of them is going to do that. One of them is going to thank Joe Biden for the crime bill very soon.
Where is Issa Rae from?
I'm not sure. I mean, I think the last place she ended up was in California. But she's lived different places, including Africa.
She's like 47 years old, right? She's old.
No, she's in her 30s. She's in her 30s, I think. She's in her 30s.
She's like 40-something years old. I know her dad is popular for something. Like, she's not a normal, I won't say normal, but she's not a normal working class black person.
Oh no.
So like Vita said, suburban blacks believe in the system because they grew up with some nice white people. Yeah, because when you know those white nice people in the suburbs say halfway racist shit, you laugh with them. You know what I'm saying? And because you believe in half of it because, hey, man, you must be talking about them niggas in South Central. I live in Palmdale or some, you know what I'm saying? You must be talking about those Negroes. In North
Probably because I don't think T understands how dope they're Charlotte. No, man, I remember those jackets. Those starter jackets were pretty hot. But these people on Twitter trying to say is that every time you left the house, you got killed. like no
Man.
one. Basically, I was saying, how did anyone have memories of having starter jackets if everyone died who had one? According, or
Vita,
maybe the people who remember them were the killers.
Vita, how old is Ava
Oh,
DuVernay? Not Issa Rae, but Ava DuVernay.
oh, you know what happened? You must have misspoke because you said
Yeah.
Issa.
Yeah,
See,
not Issa Rae.
oh, so you misspoke. You
Yeah.
meant Ava DuVernay.
Yeah,
Oh,
Ava's
actually,
like 40 something.
oh, that was the mistake. You said Issa Rae by mistake.
Yeah.
Oh, in that case, I think you're right. I think Ava DuVernay is about 47. I was wondering how Issa Rae came up. Okay, I see now.
What's up with Paulie Maldonado? He's a racist. End of story.
Oh, can you find that clip of when his voice cracks when he gets mad at Broner? That's funny.
Yeah. Let me find that.
Oh, that is really funny. While you're looking for that, I'm gonna put this up real quick. But I'm gonna give you examples of some of the dumb shit. Like people say we don't let up on these people. This is why I can't let up on these people. I saw this tweet right before we live stream. This woman, and I hope she's not really a lawyer, Raven Sanchez Esquire, right? She goes, what if there was no 1994 crime bill? Woo! So now these people are like, to cape for Biden, they're like, as if there was no other way of getting things done. It was either the 94 crime bill with its draconian standards or hell. No other way. And what's funny about that is, if you look at this is from the article that you and I discussed, Ken, right?
Yeah.
And when people say the Congressional Black Caucus supported the crime bill, what the Congressional Black Caucus actually supported, they supported a crime bill.
Mhm.
And this is how people lie with facts. When I say people that you can lie with facts, when you tell something that's technically factual, but it's kind of not contextualized, they supported a crime bill. They wanted a crime bill to happen. Their crime bill was an alternate version that included investments in prevention and alternatives to incarceration.
Yes.
$2 billion more to drug treatment,
Yes.
and $3 billion more to early intervention programs. So there was a lot of preventative stuff.
The same shit that they're doing for the opioid crisis right now.
Yep, exactly. All this kind of more sensitive, preventative, and curative stuff, white people now are doing for the opioid crisis. You're exactly right. And notice that's a crisis. This was an epidemic. The epidemic is like a sickness that needs to be cured. The crisis is like, oh my God, this hurts all of us. This is a call to action. The caucus also put forward the Racial Justice Act, which would have made it possible to use statistic evidence of racial bias to challenge death sentences. So to make sure that there wasn't disparate racial punishment for whatever. But then the people in power did selective hearing, which is they took the black support for anti-crime legislation and used it to push all this crazy stuff. So it's like there's not only other options besides the crime bill available. They were put forward at the time, but the Republicans and other people filibustered, and like the tough on crime Democrats, they filibustered the hell out of the Congressional Black Caucus and pushed for that more draconian version. And Joe Biden made a big show of letting people know that he didn't want to be a soft on crime Democrat.
Right. That was what it was all about. They didn't give a damn what the Congressional Black Caucus said. They didn't give a damn about what the NAACP said. All they need, and this is how politics works when you include black people, all they need is one black person to agree with them. One.
Yep.
That's all it takes.
Black people say things all the time that they're fine ignoring. So you mean to tell me all of a sudden, they're that beholden to what black people say? Black people say stuff all the time that
they don't give a damn. Black people was asking for reparations when Barack Obama was president. He said it wasn't economically feasible. So what do you mean? You got cops in your background, T. I think T is frozen. Hey T, can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I can hear you. I'm sorry.
Oh, you was frozen for a second.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was frozen. I couldn't hear you for a second either, but I hear you now.
That was Kamala. She was hacking into the stream. Look, let me share this video though. This video is hilarious.
Okay, cool.
Do.
Yeah, there was a lag for a second, so I didn't see you. Oh yeah, this is great.
To assess this fight, certainly this was your toughest competition as a professional.
First of all, being my Showtime debut, I got to do this for my fans because this is what they want to see. Hey, Pops, brush my hair. Okay.
The tradition, I guess, continues. Now, about the fight. What was your assessment?
Paulie fought exactly how I thought he was going to fight. As soon as he felt my power, he got on his bicycle, and I had to literally cut him off the whole fight. I respect him. He's a hell of a fighter. He's a world-class fighter. And to come in somebody's hometown and beat them in a split decision, that's great to me.
Adrian, the volume of punches certainly favored Paulie. However, you kept saying the entire fight, we could read your lips and hear you. You can't hit me. Were you at ever any point hit with a shot that concerned you?
Negative, man. He couldn't hit me. He couldn't hit me. He was shadow boxing.
When you knew that you were losing rounds, particularly early, it seemed as though you were able to take control, came alive in the 5th round, and then the 6th round, you seemed to be much more. Were you final thought? Any regrets about anything that went on in the pre-fights and all the news conferences?
Negative. I'm good. I beat Paulie. I left with his belt and his girl.
Adrian, congratulations on winning the title.
Here it comes.
Paulie, come on in.
Hey, I'm just saying, you lost.
I know I lost. But don't,
Hold on, wait.
but don't brag about taking my side piece. Don't brag about taking my side piece. That's my side piece. You don't get laid.
You don't get laid.
All right.
You don't get bitches.
Man, that dude is something else, man.
Yo, the way his voice cracked. This is what I wonder, right? When I first heard it, I just thought he was making a joke, like a your mama joke. But did Adrian Broner really take his girl? Because
that was real. Yeah, that's real.
Oh, so Adrian Broner really took his girl.
Yeah, that's real. That is real. That really did happen. It really did happen. Yeah. It really did happen. He really did take Paulie's girl before the fight. And I guess he did whatever with her, and then he got mad about it. And I posted that on Twitter. I said, this is when Paulie Maldonado said, "Fuck you niggers." He went.
Because I thought it was a joke, but the way his voice cracked, that was real hurt. It
was hurt. Yeah.
But the funny thing was, right? Even if he stopped with "that's my side piece," I think he could have saved face with that. But when he said "you don't get laid,"
yeah,
he said "you don't get laid." Well, he's getting laid. He's getting laid tonight.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, do boxers get laid, player? Trust me.
Yeah,
boxers. Look, when you're a tough guy, you're gonna get some cat. So you know,
yo, I'm gonna add something else with boxers getting laid. Boxers, they get laid before they even get rich, before they even have success.
Yes.
I think boxers have the highest on average disproportionate hot partner to money made ratio. Like struggling up and coming Golden Glove guys, when you see the girls in their corner, will look like NBA players' wives as far as how they look.
When you're a boxer, man, you get a lot of. First, you're gonna get the local clout, but then when you start making the circuit, man, you're getting a whole lot of clout because you're gonna be connected to somebody. What's funny about boxers is that all amateur boxers that are well known, they know Floyd Mayweather, they know Shane Mosley, they know those guys. You know what I'm saying? Because they're usually a sparring partner. So you're usually the sparring partner for Floyd Mayweather for his up and coming fight. You're one of maybe a dozen sparring partners, but that shit is hilarious, man. And that was also the beginning of like Adrian Broner selling fights. Like he can sell a fight right now. He isn't beating anybody, but he can sell a fight in a heartbeat.
First off, the funny thing about saying the side piece is that he's admitting he's cheating. So that's a funny thing.
Yeah.
First off, so was she really a side piece? Because
I don't think so.
There's no way to win because either you call her a side piece. I think what he meant was a jump off.
Yeah, but I think that was really Paulie's girl. I think that was Paulie's girl. It was a black girl too.
No, it had to be his girl because no one's gonna admit side piece in the ring. I think he meant jump off. He didn't even get the slang right. He was trying to use some.
That's how hurt he was.
Yeah. So he said side piece, but I think he meant girl. But what he should have said was jump off, even if it's a lie. You know, that would make more sense. But then he has like you don't get laid. That doesn't even make any sense. Listen, if somebody who doesn't get laid stole my girl, it's even worse. How does that make it better?
So I was wrong. So the girl that they're talking about, she's not black, but I'm gonna show you what she looks like.
Yeah. Oh, and this is the other thing too. If she really was a side piece, what are you doing bringing a side piece to your big match? You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is the girl. I don't know if you guys can see that, but this is her. She's some Puerto Rican looking girl, or whatever. But that wasn't Paulie's side piece. He's lying.
I'm gonna tell you right now that. I don't know what that's an answering machine or something.
Oh.
Yeah. I thought. How do I turn this thing off?
Vita's right. He was getting too choked up for that just to be his side piece. Exactly.
Yeah.
That was his main.
And you know what else too, right? The fact that she wasn't black, I think actually helped him. And this is what I mean by this is what I mean by that. If she was black, he would have been even madder because like people think the worst thing that gets a racist white guy mad is seeing like a black guy with a white woman or some other type of non-black woman, but they can rationalize that a little bit better because what they say is, oh, she's just rebellious, or you know, she's mad at her dad, or she's got some liberal guilt, or she's trying to get back at, she has daddy issues, or it's a damn feminism. But white guys like to believe when they're racist that when there's a black girl that they like and they choose as good enough, that she will choose them over any black guy. So
right.
So when they get like a black girl and then the black girl still chooses to pass them up or leave them, you know, to go be with a black guy, that fucks her head up more. So I think if it actually was a black girl and he lost the black girl to Broner, it would have fucked him up even more, because when I first realized this, I had a black girlfriend who had a kind of look to her that like a lot of white guys liked, in that she had like a very small waist and this kind of like certain like frame that you know, I think a lot of guys like found a lot of white guys found attractive. So when I used to go places, a lot of white guys would like give me grief, but also she had dated white guys in the past, and I'm convinced she carried some kind of energy with her. I really believe that energy shit is real. I believe she carried some kind of energy that, you know, I don't know what it was, but the thing that I found really interesting was I got more grief from white guys with her than I'd ever gotten being seen in public with a non-black girl. Like, and and that's when I kind of realized, like, because they couldn't understand. Goes, wait a minute, I'm saving you from Blackistan. Why on earth would you choose to stay there? Like,
yeah, why you want to be with this black guy?
Yeah, like the white girl. I think this is what they think. The white girl has her own stuff, so she can afford to slum. You know, kind of like Jay Electronica and the Rothschild. Like, you know, that makes sense to them because they're like, oh, she has her own money, she has her own status. She wants to go slum for a while and play in the jungle and stuff. When they see the black girl, they think, hey, I'm saving you from savagery. Why on earth wouldn't you jump? Why on earth wouldn't you jump back? And she told me one time that one white guy was hollering at her, and then she kept turning him down, right? And then he finally broke down. He's like, all right, fine, go get AIDS, you know, and go have some crack babies then, you know.
What the fuck? He did the Mel Gibson, hope you get raped by a pack of niggers.
Yes, he went from being, hey, I'm a woke white guy, give me a chance. He went to full white supremacy, and she couldn't believe like he flipped like that. He goes, yeah, you know, well, I hope you're happy when he leaves you pregnant, high and dry, and you know, you got a bunch of crack babies and stuff, and you had a chance. And I was like, wow. So I'm telling you, if that was a black girl, I think Paulie Malignani would have gone even crazy.
Oh, he would have been straight white supremacist in the ring. They would have had to beat him down in the ring because he would have been like, "Fucking nigga!" Just fucking.
He would have went full Kramer.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know, like I told that story once, right? and then I told that story once on a podcast, and this black girl wrote me once, and she goes, "You know what? That story you told made something in my life make a lot of sense." And this black girl told me that she had dated a white guy for like a year, and then they broke up, but they lived in the same town, so she would keep seeing him, and then every time she would see him, he would keep asking, "So are you dating a black guy now? Are you dating a black guy now? Are you dating a black guy now?" And he never asked, "Hey, are you dating somebody now?" He was very, very fixated on if she broke up with him to now be with specifically a black guy. And I always find that really interesting.
That's those guys that's so weird, man. Like, and if she did, you know, get back with him one day, that he'll just badger her to death. So was his bigger than mine?
Yeah. And she'll probably tell him stuff like, "Oh no, it definitely wasn't," or she might do a double fuck with his head and go, "Oh yeah, but it was too big. Yours is better." And then he'd be like, "Wait, what does that mean?"
Oh shit, that's so funny.
Oh yeah, but yeah,
that's so funny because it's true.
Yeah, it's like a double back because he wouldn't know what to do with that, because he's like, "Wait, so you're saying it was bigger, but does she mean it that?"
Oh my god, that's so funny.
Yeah, his was bigger, but yours is better. It's like, wait, huh?
Right. Then he'll come looking for you. Man, I just gotta see it, man. I just gotta see it. Like, what the fuck, man? Leave me alone. You got your woman back, bro.
Yeah, let me see for 5 seconds. Just want to know.
Right.
Wait. How soft is it right now?
Right.
Is it 50% soft? Is it 35% soft? I just want to know what I'm looking at. I just want to know.
Oh my god, that shit is so fucking funny. I'm crying. Oh my god, man, white dudes, man. Something's, I don't know, man.
Wait, do me a favor. Get it all the way hard, just so I know, bro.
Dude, I always tell this story, and I've told this story many a times about when I was in college, man. The first class I was stupid. I know what I was doing. The first class I ever took in undergrad was a class called Marriage and Intimacy. I learned some weird shit about white dudes, man. Like the type of porn they watch, and man, some of that stuff I was like, what the fuck? Who wants to watch this stuff? Like, it's just straight race play, basically. Like, that's all it is. And it's not even about the woman. It's the obsession with the dude.
Yeah. I have a guest coming on about that. She's the one who coined the term Mandingoism and Mapplethorpeism, and Lucille. Unfortunately, she can't come on because of the pandemic right now, because she's not computer savvy. She needs her nephews to come over and set it up. But yeah, she writes all about that, about how the term nigger lover has a double meaning. Like when they get called another white person a nigger lover, it's like a double connotation. It's meant like you're a bleeding heart liberal, but also like they get insecure about it because it's revealing the sexual obsession, with
Absolutely.
the black. Yeah. So it's like a double insult. It's a good case.
I'll tell you what, man. Everybody grew up. We all had the Playboy magazines and all the whatever the fuck your uncle or your grandfather had hiding under the couch cushion, right? But this shit is on another level. Like we did some research and they found out, like, on internet search, in the most racist cities in America, or the racist counties and towns, the number one search was ebony. So you go to Alabama, Mississippi, all these places, the number one search in the porn website was ebony. Not only that, and they couldn't show us, because we still in a public place, but they were showing like box covers to porn movies, and it's always a black dude whose dick is bigger than this bottle, and it's a white girl, and she's like afraid. And the dude, the dude's got his dick laying on her head. You know what I'm saying?
I think you showed us.
I think I did show it to you guys in the chat once.
I think the one you showed us was called Monsters of Blank.
Monsters, and white. My dad knows I'm fucking a Negro, and it's some nigga with a big ass, his dick is just hanging on her head, and she looks like she's 20 years old, and he looked like he's 35. Like all of that stuff is historical. That was the basis behind Birth of a Nation.
Yeah. I want to recommend a book. Somebody give a good point in the chat right there. They said that there's a great scene from the movie Company of Men where Aaron Eckhart makes his black underling show him his dick. I forgot about that till you just said that. I sound info, and I didn't have the knowledge I have now to kind of get the full significance of that scene. But yeah, you're right. I totally forgot. He's right. There is. Hold on. You see what he said? You see what Adidas said here? They think the world is their brothel. There's a really good book, and so interesting is this book is written by a white guy with an Asian wife, so he actually knows what he's talking about. The book is called, I'm putting on the screen, The East, the West, and Sex: A History of Erotic Encounters. This is the Kindle version that I have here, and the table of contents, right? And look at the second chapter, chapter 2. The whole world as the white man's brothel. Like he dedicates like a whole chapter to the historical idea of the whole world as the white man's brothel. But that's a real thing.
We know that that's true because during slavery, especially with the Portuguese and the Spanish, they didn't mind mating with black people.
Yeah.
You got Dominicans and Puerto Ricans and Colombians, and you know what I'm saying? They didn't mind. Now the British, they ain't want nothing to do. They would rape you. And I'm not saying the Spanish and the Portuguese wouldn't rape either, but they were more inclined to marry somebody who was an African compared to the British. They were just gonna rape you. They were, you know.
Yeah. The British were very, but you know, I think the British are like that too. Well, first let me finish one last thing about the book. One of the things that the book really gets across is the idea of sexual entitlement. And there's this sense in which white people have this idea of the right of first refusal to non-white sex. As in I get the first pick of, you know, the non-white people, and then and it's not just the men. The reason I'm avoiding gender terms because I think a lot of white women are the same way. Like when Lena Dunham was shocked that Odell Beckham wasn't spreading her. Yeah, and she had this idea that even if she didn't want to sleep with him, he was supposed to like act thirsty for her. Like she's supposed to get first pick. So she probably saw him looking at some other chick who he might be looking at a black girl instead of her and stuff, and she found like she was refused something that she was entitled to. You know what I'm saying? Like so I don't even think it's a gender thing. I think this idea that we get to choose the best non-white people and take our pick from the best non-white people sexually before the other non-white people get a shot. So the idea that hey, this non-white person is rejecting me for a non-white person, that ruins the natural order, but they don't feel that same amount of sexual entitlement to white women,
right?
At least not anymore. So I don't think it kind of is as much as an existential threat to them as I know, to be rejected by a white. Like it might still bother them. I'm not gonna say it's not gonna bother them, but I think it really bothers them more. I think you were gonna say something and I cut you off.
I don't remember.
Yeah, but that book was really interesting,
man. That's you know, and this is, I'm not trying to say all, you know what I'm saying, but man, I told you about my boy. He lives in Thailand right now, man. That dude, I think I talked about him the last stream. He over there choking.
I know.
You ain't want to go down the wrong tube, man. That's a bitch.
Yep.
But my boy lives in Thailand. He's been in Thailand for like 5 years, and I think I talked about this on the last stream. He does not date white women, and he's white, redhead white dude.
Oh yeah, you did mention him.
He calls them cave dwellers. He does not date white women, but he only dates Asian women. Well, he'll date any kind of woman as long as they're not white. But he lives in Thailand, so you know he's dating Asian women. But he detests white women. He doesn't really. I don't know. I've known him probably about 7-8 years, and we never had a conversation really about like his family background because I've known this dude. I've never met his parents.
You know what I say is really interesting is that I found a blog back in the day by a white guy who hated white women, right? And a lot of things he was saying is like just that they're entitled, they're spoiled, they're manipulative, they cry crocodile tears or whatever. But what's interesting is finding blogs like that is so few and far between. And he dropped a lot of secrets. And I feel like a lot of these white guys who hate white women probably feel the way he does, but it's very rare for them to admit it, especially admitting it with the aim of elevating black women. But in this blog, he was specifically rave about black women. He'd be like, black women are more submissive, black women care more about family, they care more about religion, they care more about family values, and he was saying all this stuff. He was very complimentary toward black women, but I noticed how rare that was to find like white men or white women having blogs dedicated to bashing specifically the other gender of their race,
right?
To elevate when it does happen with say like the white women, it's usually on some gutter sex stuff like, oh, white guys are little, but black guys are superior, black penis, bow down, like it's usually when it does happen,
fetish type shit.
Yeah, some fetish type stuff. But in reverse, oh my God, forget about it. There are so many black men and black women with blogs just dedicated to trashing their own. Same with Asians. A lot of Asian people who do it, talking about like how bad their own men are and how great or how bad their own women are.
Asian women do that. I've heard Dominican women do that. Puerto Rican women, they don't like their dudes. They're like, especially Dominican women, I can't stand those dudes. They're nasty, And I'm like,
dedicating YouTube pages, blogs, like and I know like white people stay way more on code with stuff like that. They stay way more on code. Even if they hate their own, they still try not to go overboard and elevating.
This is an interesting question. Why don't we hear white women complaining about how white men date outside their race? Is it because white women have wealth as well? No, it's because white women are women and they know they can get dick from anybody. So it doesn't really make a difference. Dudes are the ones that complain the most because dudes are always chasing after women. And when you feel like you're being alienated by a certain section of women, that starts to fuck with your ego a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like Elliot Rodger. You know what I'm saying? That's what fucked with Elliot Rodger. He couldn't get any women. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, he just relied on white supremacy. You know what I'm saying? So that's what a lot of dudes, and same thing with incels. That's their problem. It's not they don't have a problem with not being able to get a woman of a particular race. Like you hear the incels talk about Pookie and Ray Ray, they can't get any women.
Yep.
Even if they wanted a white woman, they ain't getting one. So
and something else too, right? That is very interesting. Like what you said is absolutely true. That women don't really have that scarcity as often as men do, but in rare times it does happen where women do that. Like for example, at the peak of the white man Asian woman thing, there were some articles that came out with people where women were complaining about Asian women stealing all the white men. Like it's rare, but it does happen. There was the actual well-known writer, I forget her name. Does anyone notice this woman's name? It's a white woman who writes for I think Slate or Salon, and she's a total like Hillary lib. She's a white feminist writer. She's probably in her 50s or whatever. Her name is boom.
There, Vida just said it right there. Boom.
But I'm telling you, it happens sometimes. There was a short. First off, I think white women are threatened by black women, but they hide it better. I think it comes out.
Black women is the other way around. Black women have a tendency to be threatened by white women for whatever reason. Not all black women, but you see a lot of that. You know what I'm
saying? But when because I'm telling you, I've seen white women get turned down by black men who prefer like for a black woman, and I have seen like some of the nasty stuff that comes out, it's really bad. Like if you ever see a white woman get rejected by a non-white man for a non-white woman, I just think white women they don't get rejected as much in general. Women in general just don't get rejected as much, so it doesn't get a chance to come out as often, you know. But
I mean, for what Negro don't want to date that white woman, so go find some other buck dancing Negro that will.
But like I remember one time I was out in a club in the 90s, and I remember this white girl came up to me, and I was like, no, I'm good. And then I was dancing with this black girl, and then she said something along the lines of, yeah, I guess I can't compete with all that ass. You know, like under her breath, like, you know, she passed by.
But look at what Vita said. Once they've been turned down, that's when the insecurity comes in.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. They don't walk around with it. They don't walk. No. Vita's absolutely right. They don't walk around with it proactively. I totally agree. I agree.
I've seen this on Twitter. I've seen this in real life. We walk around with that shit immediately. You know what I'm saying? Without even being turned down, we're already complaining about somebody dating somebody that's black, white, that Puerto Rican, or whatever. It's in our mind. You know what I'm saying?
Can anyone give me names? Anyone into media of pro Hillary writers who work for a Salon or Slate? Because this woman, she wrote an article in the 90s about Asian women taking the white men. And it still haunts her to this day. But this in the 90s. In the 90s, there was this phase where white women were kind of having this crisis over Asian women. That kind of went away. But and I want to, if I can remember her name, I'll find the piece right now. Yeah. This is like very true. White women like Diamond and Silk because they are not threats. But I'm going to show you how. I'm going to give you an example of how I think white women's insecurity comes out. And when I saw a lot of these things, I kind of realized, you know, something, they are threatened by black women. Don't let them fool you. I'm going to show you. You ever see Amy Schumer's butt sketch?
No, but she's an ugly white woman, so she's threatened by everybody.
That's true. That's true. But she's also an ugly white woman who I think feels that she hasn't. There's certain things that she said and done in her jokes that I still think she thinks she can get a high quality black man. She says stuff about dating like Latinos and like Chelsea Handler too. Chelsea Handler is like one of those white women who I think she really believes that she has the right of first refusal over. You ever see Chelsea Handler? Oh, here's a great example. You ever see Chelsea Handler talk about 50 Cent and the love triangle with Ciara? She talks about how she felt she couldn't compete with Ciara, you know, this like black goddess. And then she said that she called 50 Cent a slur.
Oh no, I know she fucked around with 50 Cent. I didn't know 50 Cent fucked around with Ciara though.
Yeah, she complained that 50 Cent was using Ciara to make her feel jealous, and she kind of made it kind of show that she felt insecure to Ciara, and she ended up calling 50 Cent like a slur. But have you seen this thing? There was a stage in the 2000s where black women were making a lot of these. Or sorry, white women were making a lot of these kind of videos.
Yeah, I remember this shit. Yeah.
And it's like a lot of people got kind of mad at her for how racist it was, but the way I saw it, I'm like, she's kind of showing her jealousy. I think like this is really haterish. Like
it's both.
Yeah, to me, it's kind of a backhanded compliment.
See, Chelsea Handler's not gonna do that.
Yeah,
because Chelsea Handler knows she can get a date. You know what I'm saying? Because Chelsea Handler's not an ugly woman. This woman is ugly. She's not getting a date. So she has to use racism as tongue in cheek in a certain kind of way. This is all tongue in cheek. And look who she throws in there, Amber Rose. Like,
yep. But she's putting down asses. She's calling them like fudge machine. Like she's trying to stigmatize people who like asses. So what is she basically saying? She's like trying to put down black women basically, but it's from a haterish way. It's kind of like saying, why are you liking these asses? To me, asses means asses mean black women, and fudge machines and stuff. But to me, it just reeks of threat and jealousy. Like when I saw that, I was like, okay, she's really threatened by black women, no matter what she says.
Yeah, but she'll make one about Latino women too, because she's, like I said, the bottom line is she's ugly. She can't get a date with anybody because she's not an attractive woman. She knows that. You know what I mean? She's done make jokes about it. You know, to where someone, like I said, the difference between her and Chelsea Handler is Chelsea Handler does not think she's an ugly woman.
Yeah.
We have people in our community that are beautiful, that already have these preconceived notions about interracial dating, and they already hating on other people that men and women do this. You have black men, handsome black men that get on Twitter and do all these rants about dating white women. You got black women, beautiful black women that get on Twitter doing all these rants about white women and why black men dating white women and all this other kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's already in our minds to where they have to actually go through it. They actually have to be turned down to come up with these thoughts.
But I also think too, I'm gonna give another great example. I think another reason why I think the ugly white women in some ways have it even worse, because I think they can rationalize, hey, pretty white women, I can make sense or peace with them being chosen over me. But the ugly white woman, one of their few solaces is that they really believe that they're competitive with the Beyoncés of the world. Like there's a lot of like white sixes or white fives who really believe that they are competitive with the picture Beyonce minus the money. You know, like, so I think when someone like Amy Schumer sees black women's being elevated for their asses and everything, that kind of fucked up her whole self-image, because she's like, oh wait a minute, if even black women now are above me, even the hot ones, I'm one step lower on the totem pole. Like, she wouldn't make a video like that about pretty white women, you know, because she's okay with other white women being considered better than her. Look at this thing. This is another example that showed me insecurity, right? Look at Chelsea Handler. You ever see Chelsea Handler Neil Long interview?
No, I've never seen any of Chelsea Handler stuff outside of the 50 Cent stuff.
For some reason, this interview is very hard to find, and I feel like it's hard to find because it was taken down a lot. But Chelsea Handler was interviewing Neil Long, and she's hating on her so much and throwing so much shade, and it's very clear she's so threatened by Neil Long. First off, Neil Long is like way older than her and looks younger. Chelsea Handler ages in dog years.
But this is the thing though, because you got to remember there's a fine line and a very slippery slope. And if there's any women in here, they can speak to this. Or where's Vita? Vita is like the resident woman that we can ask all our stuff to. So like when it comes to women hate on each other, period.
I found it. Check it out. I'm only gonna be able to stay for like 5 more minutes, but if you want to stay on,
no, I gotta go my damn self. No, I gotta go.
Okay, so check this out, right? Look at this thing, and this was in reference to they're promoting the movie Good Hair at the time, and this is another reason why I didn't like Chris Rock's Good Hair, because I think it gave white people a lot of ammunition to diss black women. Oh damn! Unfortunately, it's on World Star Hip Hop, and World Star Hip Hop is buggy as hell.
Yeah, it is.
But she tries to like snap on Neil Long's hair and take little cheap shots at her. That it wasn't just jokes. There was something about Neil Long that was really, really.
But that's what I'm saying. Like sometimes, man, you know, with women, period, I've seen women do that catty type shit where they're hating on each other low key but laughing at the same time. You know what I'm saying? But then, yeah, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that Chelsea Handler's not doing that because she felt insecure. I mean, I'm sure that's part of it. But when you're talking about somebody like
Amy Schumer, Amy Schumer has it worse. I'm just trying to say that Chelsea Handler is not immune to it either.
No woman is.
Yeah, I just think for some reason a lot of black women kind of miss those clues a lot of times. Like they don't really because also I think white people are better at like we wear our insecurities like over. We do like 20,
all over our faces.
20 tweet threads complaining that nobody's choosing us or whatever. Chelsea Handler's never going to do like a 50 tweet Twitter thread complaining that she ain't getting chose because she didn't want to let people know that.
Women,
they don't want to show.
Well, women don't do that at all. Really, they don't really go through like telling people, "Man, I can't get a date. I can't get a date." I'm not saying it doesn't happen. Men do it all the time. We do it every day on Twitter. As compared to women,
but unfortunately, there's a lot of black women on Twitter. I'm talking about like those shea butter SJW types. That do it like guys. But but we always say that they're like female incels, like those divester types. The ones who keep claiming like and other black women will get mad at them too. They'll be like, speak for yourself. Like, stop making black women.
They complain about not being able to get dates by hating on black men.
Yeah, exactly. Or complaining like there was one lady,
like we're in the way. Well, you can't get a date with a white man because we exist.
There was one black feminist, and she had that look we talk about where we said like the Frederick Douglass hair, but looks like Mel Carter. She had that look, and she was complaining that Harvey Weinstein wasn't molesting any black women, and people were like, "What the fuck is wrong with you? Why would you want that?" like
Oh man.
Yeah, but the starter jacket discourse on Twitter is kind of crazy, and all the people talking about all the reasons why. There's a lot of people talking about all the reasons why the crime bill was good, and people are losing their minds. I'm gonna show something real quick before we go. I think they're both short, so I'm gonna show them real quick. There's two clips, right? But hold on. This idea that nobody was speaking up.
Black churches, maybe even you have sometimes on occasion.
It's where the votes are, and that's where the voting population is.
I'm very familiar with your church. Now, what I want to know, though, without giving me political advice on where I should and shouldn't be.
No, I'm not giving you advice.
I want to answer.
We represent the masses. We preach to thousands every Sunday morning. And I might say parenthetically here that maybe you should be sensitized to that by now. For when election time comes around, basically you politicians will make a beeline to the black church, but not in your white church on Sunday morning.
Well, Reverend Brown, I've probably spent as much time in your black church as maybe even you have sometimes.
See, he's always been out of pocket. He's always been out of pocket. So that whole attitude of you're not really black or I'm blacker than you, he's never had any respect for black people. And
system.
Because people trying to say that thing with Charlemagne and saying you're not really black if you don't vote for me was just a momentary slip from the Alzheimer's. But he said out of pocket stuff like that to black people before about questioning their blackness or saying he's blacker than them. He's done that before.
On the system.
And also this.
So I hope this crime bill, when it passes, the Biden-Hatch crime bill, as it becomes law, God willing, I hope that we will have ended once and for all this notion that is a hangover from the 60s, that somehow Democrats are weak on crime and Democratic presidents are weak on crime and Republicans are tough on crime. The truth is, every major crime bill since 1976 that's come out of this Congress, every minor crime bill has had the name of the Democratic senator from the state of Delaware, Joe Biden, on that bill. And
so he basically saying that I've done every tough on crime bill. I'm tougher than the Republicans. So it wasn't about saving people with starter jackets and saving the hood. He wanted to prove that he can be as hard on the niggers as
absolutely. Absolutely. It had nothing to do with all that
Democratic
bullshit.
members of the United States Senate.
And this is his own words. He's actually putting down the Republicans for not being a tougher crime as him. This is what he's doing with his speech.
Yeah.
So one of the things I want to do in addition to end the crime is end the political carnage that goes on when we talk about crime. Crime is not Democrat or Republican. Making the streets safe is not a Democratic or Republican issue. This is one of those issues I hope this passage of this bill will be taken out of the gridlock category and moved into an emerging consensus. And the consensus is as follows, and I will cease when I finish this statement. The consensus is A, we must take back the streets. It doesn't matter whether or not the person that is accosting your son or daughter or my son or daughter, my wife, your husband, my mother, your parents. It doesn't matter whether or not they were deprived as a youth. It doesn't matter or not whether or not they had no background that enabled them to have to
So he'd be
become,
saying he doesn't care about
become
the social
socialized into the
inequities and
fabric of
differences.
society. It doesn't matter whether or not they're the victims of society. The end result is they're about to knock my mother.
Yeah. So basically, I mean, he would be saying he doesn't care how you got here, the differences and
Up my wife.
racial policies, anything. Yo, fuck it. Democrats are as tough as Republicans on crime, and we don't give a fuck. And
I've already been clear with people what I'm doing in November, and I don't give a fuck what they say. You ain't gonna whoop my ass. So it is what it is.
Yeah, and he wasn't doing it to save black people. He was doing it because he wanted to show that he's tougher than Republicans.
He's a fucking
racist. Yep. I gotta go. I hate to cut it short, but thanks for joining us. We had a good time. Hope you all enjoyed it. Hit the super chat on the way out if you want, or go to patreon.com and donate over there. All right. We'll talk to you soon. Love y'all. And comment, like, subscribe on the way out, man. For real. I might come on later tonight if you're down. So I'll check.
Hit me up. Yeah, hit me up. I'll be around.
Cool. All right, cool.
All right, peace.